Hmm. Oh, I forgot to do this. Thanks, Jalen. Let me let me make a quick change real quick to my settings so you can see what I'm playing. I just realized I made a change and didn't change it back. All right, let's see if I can fix this. Yep. All right. Hmm. Hello, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in, everybody. Hmm. 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 Ah, let's see. All right. Hello, everybody. Hmm. Hmm. All right. So, hey, Noriko. Hey, Jay, Junior McGrillis, maybe? Is that right? What's going on, Boston? Hey, Bob. I'm glad they were able to help you. Hey, Austin. Hey, Sean Tate. Unbreakably Holly. Amazing Boss. Thank you. Thank you. Jalen Stripling. Thanks, man. Hey, Keith. Hey, Rick Smith. Frank, good to see you again. This is very interesting. All right. Very interesting. Patrick Winters, love the channel. Hey, thanks, Patrick. Eric. My. All right. Changing some settings here, so you notice I'm missing the top keyboard, and I'm being super transparent right here. Um. Um. And we'll get started in a moment. I'm trying to fix something for you all so you can see my MIDI keyboard, but it is not acting right. So I might do something different. Um, yeah, so I might do something just a tad bit different. All right. So let me give me a moment to correct this as I change the screen. So stick around, don't leave, and I'm going to correct this really quickly. Sorry about this. All right, everybody. Thank y'all for your patience. Um, I've been playing around with a few settings here, and trying to switch things around in the studio here. I've been switching equipment and just a lot of different things, and so we're making a lot of different changes and upgrades. So to make to provide you all with some better things. So this is going to be a slightly a slightly more less pristine than normal. My apologies. And all right, all right. So can everyone hear me clearly? So let's do a quick tech check before we get started. Thank y'all for your patience. Uh, so can everyone hear me? Just let me know in the chat. Let me know that you can hear me. Um, all right, cool deal. So Keith says that you can hear me. Okay, thanks, Keith. UN Beats. All right, cool deal, cool deal. So you see my setup is slightly changed. I had to switch some MIDI stuff because I've been messing around with the MIDI and trying different flows, and so we're just doing a whole bunch of changes around here. So we're gonna get it squared away uh, shortly. But in the meantime, let's go and get started. I am not gonna keep you long today. I just got a quick thing I just want to talk about today, just for a little bit. Um, I'm definitely not going to keep you extremely long today. Not like last week. Last week was I don't know 2 hours. I don't remember. This week I am I'm not sure if you can tell in my voice. I'm a little worn out. I've been teaching today for I don't know 8 or 9 hours. So I'm a little tired today, and I didn't. I only got like a couple hours of sleep last night, so that made it worse. All right, cool deal, y'all. Um, well, for those, uh, if this is your first time, welcome to the channel. My name is Corey Taylor from SkilledMusician.com, where we are helping musicians improve. Thank you so much for coming and being part of our channel. Those who are here live, thank you so much for being here. You all make it that much more enjoyable to teach. And those who are watching the replay of this, uh, thank you so much for sticking there with us and watching this. Hopefully you can glean some things from this. Today I want to talk about something interesting. I want to talk about one mistake um, you should definitely avoid. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, well, as a musician, there are many pitfalls. There are many mistakes that you can make that will negatively affect you in the long run. And so I just really want to talk about one of those, one of those, one of those mistakes. And so while I'm talking about this mistake, why don't you all in the chat let me know some of the mistakes that your number one mistake that you think people should not make or should be aware of. So what mistake? It could be something you did or maybe but just let me know what is a mistake that's happened that you want to share that can help us. All right. Um, Now the mistake I want to talk about is the mistake. It's a big topic, and I'm going to try to address it from multiple points of view. But let me just start kind of upper level and dig down into this thing. Um, the biggest mistake I see people making is not is incompletion. is incompletion. And you stop digging for more. And it shows up, it rears its ugly head in a lot of different ways and a lot of different places. And so I'm just going to give you a couple of places. Um, and I've maybe talked about some of these in the past, but I kind of want to kind of put them all in uh, one kind of format here, one video here. So one of the biggest uh, mistakes I have some students that I work with, and one of their favorite keys is E flat, and so this is their chord, and this is the way they play it. And every time they come to E flat, this is the way it is played every single time. So it doesn't matter where they are, they could be here. And it's like, wait a minute. So this is incompletion, like learning all your chord inversions. Right? That's something simple. Right? Um, but then, uh, uh, but then we can go advanced, and so we can hit everybody from this, because I have a lot of advanced musicians that work with me, and they don't uh, learn. For instance, they learn incomplete their tensions. So let's say we're doing a 2-5-1 in C, for example. So I'm going to go D minor to G7 to C. So for my beginners, D minor 7 to G7 and then to C. Now I'm not going to voice it like that. I'm going to mess with it a little bit if you're wondering. But here's the idea. Let's say they're doing and then they get to the 5 chord. And so I didn't give you all the information. Let me give that to you before I go. So here's a melody. All right, but so that's the melody. That's gonna be my progression. Okay, so that's my D minor. Over the D minor, I'm gonna play 4 chords with these notes in the melody, and then over the G7, I'm gonna play the G7 with this E in the melody, and then this D over the C. All right, so here we go. Let's try it. All right, now they get to this G and they have the E in the melody, and this chord is saying I need tension, right? But because they haven't worked through their tensions, I might get something like this every time, and this is okay, but it has this tritone right there in the middle without some mitigating thing, so it just gets. Sorry, that's okay. You can do that, but there are better options. You can. Right. Let me try another one. I actually like that last one though. I'm saying. I like that. Let's do a different one. Oh, that was nice too. All right. And so the bigger point is completion. And so I want to encourage you that no matter what you are learning, whether you're learning the inversions of C major, whether you're learning your scales with both hands, Whether you're learning chords, uh, uh, chordal movements, it doesn't matter. The biggest issue I hear is incompletion. You don't learn it all the way through. Um, um, you learn an approximation of the thing, no matter whatever that thing is, right? Let's see. Um, all right. So that was kind of like a bebop thing over like rhythm changes, right? Let me think of a. Um, all right, let me do that slowly. So I'll do it slowly, and I'll just play a little bit of it, try to just kind of um, showcase this point. So let's say I'm doing rhythm changes. So right. So that's like playing the rhythm changes, right? This is so rhythm changes are kind of a jazz standard chord change. You know, the rhythm hence the name rhythm changes, but it's a common chord change, and you know gospel songs have this. A lot of your pop songs from back in the 50s and 60s have these changes. So it's a common set of changes that happens a lot of places. Um, okay, and I'm noticing something weird. Uh, Hold on one second. All right, I thought my hands got out a little whack a little bit. Okay, so but what happens is because we don't sit down and learn those changes and learn the depths of them, we'll make approximations. So that is, we'll play kind of at it. We won't actually play the thing. We'll play at it. So we'll play stuff like um, and try to fake like we're actually playing it when we're not. We didn't take the time to dig into it and really complete the process. Um, and so often I feel like we're so quick to get off the completion, like to go through the hard thing, because we just kind of want to play something that sounds good, and not spend some time exploring um, and working through these ideas. Um, and I see it from beginner to advanced. It shows up everywhere. Let's see. So let me go through some of your ideas. All right. So what did you say? Uh, Michael says not properly using the sustain pedal. That's a big one. One of one of the biggest enemies to clarity of playing, clarity of sound, is the sustain pedal. That's a big one. Anthony Collier says, trying to learn advanced concepts before learning the basics. You know, this is the thing with so much information. There are so many teachers out there. There's so many videos. There are so many resources that we have an overabundance of resources. But what's interesting is we have more resources than ever before. But it seems like less people can play well, which seems like an oxymoron. More information, but less people playing well. Tell me what you think about that. That's a good point. Richmond says, don't compare yourself to others and never stop practicing. Yeah, comparing yourself to others is a dead end proposition. It does not yield good fruit. So Keith Wilson says, "Can you say more about working through tensions?" Okay, sure. On every chord, there are tension notes. There are tension notes. So on major chords, there are tension notes. So for instance, um, so once we get past 7, we have 9, 11, and 13. So these are our tension notes. Right? Cool. These are our tension notes. However, we don't spend time learning how to use them or even explore beyond them. So we find our voicing, okay, or you know, and that's it. And we don't explore any other possible sounds. Um, so let me give you an example. All right, for a C major chord. So this is kind of an advanced idea. Keith is advanced, so I can explore some of these topics with him. Um, One of the notes I've started adding on some of my major chords is C sharp. So the sharp 1. Kind of like a sharp 15. If you look at it, like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15. Right? And that doesn't feel, uh, uh, that doesn't feel uh, bad, right? Yeah, that doesn't feel bad. So I've been exploring that sound. That's the sharp 15. Uh, well, technically, the extensions keep going up. We stopped at 13, but you could keep going up and could keep going higher and higher. Or even just making use of the ones we already know. Like, okay, so the example I gave, Keith, is what would you play over this E? I'm playing a G7 and I have E. Like, what would we play? So there are quite a number of musicians that would just go like, or like, and not really have explored. Okay, I can add the flat 9, but I can also add the flat 5. Maybe I can make it add the sharp 9, and it becomes a little more tense. You'll hear Mike Burrell hit these really tense chords. Mike Burrell is one of the geniuses of gospel music. He's phenomenal. But you'll hear him hit these tense chords, and they come off, and you're like, what was that tense chord he hit? Well, he spent time exploring the tensions and learning them. So exploring how to combine different tensions together. So often we find our favorites in gospel, and there are a few that we use all the time in gospel music that we don't spend time exploring more. So we leave stuff incomplete. We leave stuff just good enough, right? And so this is not me complaining or going on a long-winded diatribe. This is more me wanting to encourage you all to go deeper than you have been. There's a famous quote by Beethoven where he talks about don't just stay on surface, but dig deep, because that's where you'll be able to pull them into the divine and stuff like that. But his point was, don't just stay on the surface, go deep into the music. And so I want to encourage you, whatever it is that you're learning, ask yourself, have you learned it completely? Have you learned it completely? And if you can't answer yes honestly, then I would encourage you to go back and learn that thing, whatever that thing is. Because here's what happens. I see so many musicians, and I teach so many musicians, and so I'll see they want to progress to the next thing, And so what I often give a framework. So especially when people work with me, and even some that don't work, I just do it for them. Like I'll give them a framework of how things should progress. What you because a lot of times people want a framework, but they don't. Like, what comes next? What should I be learning next? So I'll help. But what happens is the very first thing they won't learn. Um, they'll want to jump to the next cool thing that they hear, and there's so much information in the first thing, um, that it's mind-boggling. Okay, so that's kind of the heart of what I wanted to talk about today. I didn't want to go super deep today. I have some stuff that I've actually been working on that I was hoping to have done for you all today. Something that's never before. I don't know anybody else is I don't know if it's happened anywhere in all of music. I don't know anybody's ever done what I'm going to do, and so I was trying to have it done for you today, but it just I don't have it fully baked yet. So I said, okay, I'm gonna wait, but I'm gonna teach something different. So this is something else I've been thinking about. So so now can you all listen? You all are amazing artists. Can you amazing community? But can y'all be transparent for a moment? Can you be transparent? This is about helping musicians improve, and I want to help you improve. Like you right there watching me on the screen. So can we be transparent for a moment? What is the thing that you have left incomplete, and you know you have not mastered, you have not gotten well, um, done well, but you've left it and moved on to the next thing? What is that thing? Be honest and write it in the chat. Be honest. Uh, be honest. Write it in the chat. So let's see what some people are saying here. Keith, did I answer your question? Did I was that enough depth for you? I'm trying not to go too deep in anything today, but was that enough depth to kind of explain what I meant? And Enrico says not playing with other musicians. Yeah, that's important. That's important to do. It's great. I know a phenomenal pianist who I like is phenomenal. When I say phenomenal, I mean like unreal phenomenal. And like he doesn't get out and play with anybody, but he is one of the most unbelievable musicians I've ever heard. Um, and so it's important to get out and play because getting more information from some other people in the moment and having to respond to somebody else's thought. Because when we're playing together, it's not just my thought. It's not a dictatorship, but it's like we're all contributing to what's happening. Um, so yeah, that's important. Not using the metronome and practicing. That's important. Um, Ato says yes, because we have too much information. It's hard to know which to learn before others. Yeah. Um, let's see. John Key says my tension chords have either been found by accident or stolen. Now, those are two great ways to find chords. So I'm not at all saying uh you know because many of mine I stole or found by accident. But I would also suggest that there should be some that are found on purpose. All right. So Bob Fridge says there is barely any song I can play by muscle memory. I find that I half learn songs and I make a lot of mistakes while playing. Okay, Bob, I want to help you. Bob, tell me what kind of songs you're learning. Albert says not being able to play a song in all keys. Okay, that's important. And definitely should work that out. Chris says, "What if it seems like everything?" Chris, I'm not sure what you mean. Um, tell me what you mean by "it seems like everything." I'm not sure what you're referencing, and I want to help you. UMB says, "Contrary motion on scales." contrary motion on scales. All right. Uh, one quick tip, one fun way is just kind of, right? You have C major scale, you're going up, and then right here, keep your right hand going up, but your left hand go down, and then come back together, and then back down. That's a fun way to practice. That's fun. All right. Um, John says left hand dexterity, scales, runs, etc. Okay. Keith says yes. So I guess you're saying yes, I answered your question. My students say I can't hear that, and I want to help them hear more. Uh, maybe I'm hearing the reading your comment out of context, Keith. Tell me more when you say that I can't hear that. What are you referring to? Because it might have been something I said, but I don't remember what I said. That you're saying I can't hear, or yes. So just tell me more. Just make sure I understood it before I jump in on that one. Let's see. Ange says chords that sound good with other chords. So that's what you're struggling with, Ange? Chords that sound good with other chords? Okay. Anthony Collier says, I gave up and said I'll just play in D flat only and constantly use the transpose button. I've been trying to fix that for the last 2 months. Hey, congratulations, Anthony. Congratulations. I'm not here to bash you. I want to congratulate you and encourage you. Man, listen, the transpose button is a difficult thing to overcome, but I believe you can overcome it, and I congratulate you. 2 months? 2 months? Great. How's it going? How's it going? Tell me how it's going. I want to hear from you. Tell me how it's going. Noriko says scales and voice things. They're so deep. Yeah. Keith. Keith says so maybe people don't know how to complete. Hmm. That's a good point. That's a good point. So how do you complete? What is a good marker to know that you've completed something? All right, let me give it to you like this. Everybody, unless you have some physical ailment or issue, and so if that's you, this example isn't for you. But we all know how to take the fork and put it to our mouth and eat. We've all mastered eating with a fork. Yes, we've mastered eating with the fork and a spoon. There is no way we can take the fork, even if we're not looking, and mistakenly poke ourselves in the side of the face or the eye. It just won't happen. It just doesn't happen unless by some freak occurrence something happened. But no, you eat with the fork every day and you don't even think about it. You've mastered eating with the fork. There was a time and you couldn't eat with the fork though, and you had to learn to master that thing. And so when do you know you've completed something? When you've mastered it. When you can play it and not miss. Like every time you play it, you don't miss. That means you've mastered it. It's something that's in your hands. Now that doesn't mean you can only work on one thing at a time, because that can become tedious and boring. But there should be some things that you're continually working on, continually improving to mastery, right? Let's see. So let's see, some Bob Fish, gospel songs and pop with some jazz changes in the mix. Okay. So Bob, there's two things I would suggest. I did a live stream a couple weeks ago, where I talked about my secret weapon. Let's see if I can find it for you really quickly. And so this video, I think will be extremely important for you and knowing how to um, let's see. Hopefully, I can find that one really quickly. Um, oh man, it was 2 months ago. I thought it was only a couple weeks ago. It was 2 months ago. All right, there's a video I did, and I want you to go through that, Bob, and follow this process when you learn a song. And if you do that, I'm putting the video in the chat. And if you do this, that'll change, and so you'll learn. You have songs, you have them in your, you have them, you own them. Bolus is playing chords in my left hand. I really need to work on my left hand. Good. Okay. Um, and and just work it. The first thing I did, Bolo, was I remember when I was trying to do that, I just said, okay, whatever my right hand plays, my left hand's gonna play it. So I would play like a song with my right hand, and then I would play it with my left hand. And I did that for whole songs and see if I could play exactly the same. Um, and then I started getting into other things. But yeah, definitely do that. Timing, how to hear where the song is going. So bright, that comes from understanding music. So you have to listen to a lot of music. Listen to so whatever genre you're in. If you're in, I'm assuming you're in gospel music, so you need to listen to a lot of gospel music, a lot of beyond what you're currently listening to. I know Jacob Collier used to listen to, who's one of the geniuses of music, listen to an album a day. You know, after you listen to so much music, you get a sense for music. I remember I had a buddy who got a chance to shed with Corey Henry, the great organist. He got a chance to shed with him for 4 hours, and after he got out of the shed, we got a chance to talk with him and just kind of hang out with him. Um, and and my buddy said Corey Henry just understands music. Like anywhere you want to go, he can go. But the bigger thing is he understands music, how it works. Like it just, and so you gotta understand music. Rick Smith says learning to play in minor keys without thinking. It's just the sixth of the major key. Ah, that's important. So that means you need to spend more time in minor. Dexter says, how do you find chords by accident? Shouldn't theory tell you what to play? Ah, Dexter, you have it backwards. Dexter, theory, theory. So this is kind of the chicken before the egg. What was created first, music or theory? Is just a commentary on music. And then we come up with these theories. Theory isn't a fact. Theory is a theory about how it works. And most theories we have, have exceptions, or or you could, there's a famous story about how Thelonious Monk went to a composition teacher, and the teacher gave 10 rules for things you could not break, rules you could not break, and so he came back and had written 10 songs that each one broke each one of the rules, and all the songs sounded amazing. So theory doesn't tell us what to play. It's a commentary on what is played. One of my favorite chords to play, I found by accident. I was playing something and I found this chord. And some of you might know this chord. Some of you, this is something you've played all the time. But this was the chord I played. And what is this chord? Well, theory would say it might be an A flat something. It might be a D flat something, right? But I used it as a B flat minor. This was my B flat minor, right? And so I discovered this by accident, and it led me to other discoveries. Let's see. Gift of Hand says master is the key. Exactly. Mastery is the key. Boston says understanding proper use of chords. For sure. John Keys says the sound test what to play. If an accent sounds juicy, it gets used. Exactly. Herbie Hancock, And I took this approach, especially when in doing jazz comping, which is like when a soloist is playing. I'm just I'm playing. And so Herbie Hancock said, sometimes he just let his hands fall where they fell. And you know, it sounds cool. I remember, um, I remember I was playing for the jazz band at Georgia State, and we were doing a tour of South Georgia and different schools and stuff like that. And there was this one tune we did that had a solo, and the song was in F, and it was a saxophone solo, and I was comping for the saxophonist, and and like the song is in F, but that meant nothing as to where we ended up. There were many times where I was playing in F sharp, even though the song's in F. And the saxophonist he's going. I'm following him and giving him a harmonic palette and stuff he needs, and I'm just going. And he one time he remarked to me, "Man, I'm just able to be free and go where I want to go." Um, and so um, a lot of times you just let your hands fall where they fall, or just try to not be boxed into where you are. Okay, let's see. Uh, Lads says very comfortable with chords in C, but struggling to play them in different keys. Yeah. So I talked about it last week, but the biggest thing, Lads, is to make up your mind that you're going to do it. That's the first part, and then start doing it. Let's see. Uh, Anthony Carter says, "Thank you so much. So I've been learning major and minor 251s in all keys with different versions in both hands. But I'm obsessed with trying to do runs and riffs, so it's hard not to jump to runs." Well, Anthony, I would break up my practice session. If like, if that's what you're hearing at the moment, then have an hour session where I'm just working on runs, and then have a hour session where I'm working on 251s in different keys. Right? Um, let's see. Egim Holkai. I'm no, I'm pronouncing your name wrong, but playing for about 10 years now in the key of C, but still don't get it. What should I do? What don't you get? What don't you get? Tell me what you don't get about playing the key of C. What is it that you don't get? Chris Hubbard says everything as in theory I learned long ago, but I just read sheet music. How to bridge the gap. So Chris, I would say start analyzing your sheet music. What happens is, let me put it to you in a different way. So sheet music, we often view sheet music as as master or as like the commander, and we're just following its dictates, right? Um, so think of it like this: there is your parent tells you what to do, and you only do what your parent tells you to do. If the the if the if you drop a glass in the kitchen and it breaks, you don't move until your parent tells you to go get something to clean up, get the broom and a towel and this and that to clean up the mess, right? But what if you start analyzing the instruction and start thinking more and less like the one being commanded, and think about what the commander is thinking. So instead, next time you drop a glass in the kitchen, instead of waiting on instruction, you know it needs to be done. And so, how does that relate to music? Well, um, so you have these songs on the sheet music, right? Well, analyze what's happening in the songs. What chords are you playing? Why are you playing those chords? And you must answer those questions. The key to this is asking the question and answering it. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong about the answer, but just answering it propels you in the right direction. If you never answer it, you stay where you are. But answering the question, even if it's wrong, is better, right? So ask the question: what are the chords? Why do they play this chord? Why do they play it like that? And then say, well, okay, what if I have another song that does that? Can I do that? And start asking, analyzing what you're doing, what's happening, and so you can get in the mind of the composer, and, or the of the writer of the sheet music, and then you can create your own, um, or and spontaneously um, so start analyzing what's happening. Don't just do it without thought. He says play a C here and a G here and an E here and a C, and it's like, what? But why? Why? So you ask the question, and then figure it out. All right. Um. Dexter says, for me, it seems almost impossible to move an accidentally found chord into another key unless I understand it. I tend to understand what I'm doing more through learning music theory. No, for sure. I understand what I'm doing, for sure. Um, but my hands have found something that maybe my theory hasn't yet caught up with. Like, what is this chord? Better yet, what is this chord? And let's say C is in the bass. So C is down here. I'm not gonna play. Let's see. All right, I think I can do it now. What is this chord? Right. So you might say, well, it's a C7. Like you got C, you got the E and the B flat. You start to say it's C7. Like no, but it has the F there. So you might say it's C sus7, cause, but it has the E there. What is this chord? David Rosario says C7 sus. um, what is this chord? Let's see if anybody can get it. No takers? Right? So, David, Dexter. I mean, the point is, sometimes your theory isn't your theory is here, but you might have some playing and ideas that are here, uh, and so what do you how do you match that? Well, let the accidents help you find some things. Hmm. Yeah. So I see some of you have it. Um, yeah, it could be a lot of things actually. Um, C7, add 4, right? There we go. Look at that. uh, it could be a lot of things. But that's a weird chord. Like, where does that what category is that? Is that dominant? Is it not? You know, like how do you treat that? So let these happy accidents that happen inform further. And so yeah, study them, but let the accidents happen, and always be on the lookout and listening for things like that. I slipped and found these things. Like I wasn't meaning to play them. I slipped and found them, and then they became some of the things that are like my favorite things to do. Mm. Um, Keith says, "How do you work on runs? Learn runs from others." Um, how do you work on runs? Hmm. Um, this is interesting. Um, because I think only I don't know. I'm thinking. I do have an answer for you, Keith, but I'm just thinking about the term runs. Like I don't I don't ever remember hearing that in my jazz studies, and I have a master's degree in jazz. So like the term run is definitely a gospel term. I think. Correct me if you know differently. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I think for the most part, I've always heard the term runs in the gospel setting, and to mean these lines. But these lines are just scales. Like, would you call that a run? Is that a run? Is that a run? Well, that's just a scale, and uh, so practicing the scales is definitely, and not just major and minor. So I was working with a student today, and we were talking about F minor blues. This this scale. We also talked about F minor pentatonic. And so practicing those, practicing pentatonic runs are especially in gospel music, pentatonic runs rule the day. If you can play pentatonics in every key, you are ruling the day. Um, and what's interesting is I found the pentatonics in like E, A, B. I find these are easier to pull. That's B. Let me do E. Ugh. I mean, I find those sometimes a lot of times, many times easier than um, the typical gospel keys, right? So I would say start with pentatonic runs. So I use the runs, pentatonic scales, right? Um, um, and then transcribing lines. Now in jazz we say lines. Um, so a run sounds like it's linear, just one direction. Like that feels like a run, but that's just a scale. Now a line, right? That's like a line. I don't know if you consider that a run. But yeah, definitely also transcribing from others for sure. Like I transcribe all the time. I have thousands, maybe tens of thousands of hours of footage, video, and audio stuff that I have a library here of stuff to transcribe and learn because there's so much stuff to learn. So yeah, let me know if that answered your question. All right. Okay. All right. So Keith says, I'm thinking about what you play before we begin when you're just playing. Oh yeah, I'm just. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I'm just. I. Oh, I got you, man. Okay, I got you. I'm just playing what I'm hearing in the moment. So I'm just playing ideas. I'm not necessarily thinking about playing like uh um. I'm definitely. I'm not. So I'm definitely not thinking about playing a hot lick. I'm just like Let me see if I can demonstrate something. Like I'm hearing the music in my head. So I let me just play. There's a chord. So I give myself like a palette to work on. Ooh. Hmm. Yeah. So even then, just now, I'm thinking about what I want to say. So here's my, like it's like if I said Atlanta Falcons, like or the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Patriots, or LeBron James. That's the topic. Talk, right? And you can, as soon as I say those names, you know, some of you have visceral reactions, and you got plenty to say, right? So when I hear this chord, I'm like, ba-da. And I heard that, ba-da-da-da-da-da. I heard that, right? So I'm just playing the sound, I guess, Um, so and I'm just playing the sound. And I'm just kind of playing the sound, but I'm doing it faster. I was trying to do it slower to just kind of, that I don't think that was particularly helpful. If I evaluate myself on that one, um, I'm trying to play what I hear in my head. I guess that's the kind of easiest way to say it. Now sometimes I'm just kind of shedding over the changes. Like I'm playing, like I might have a D minor chord, so again, and I just play D minor stuff. I'm just playing D minor stuff, so I'm not thinking there. That's just D minor stuff. So there's no thought. That's just kind of words in D minor that I know. So I'm not thinking. Then but then sometimes you know uh, I am thinking, so I'm trying to play the sound. Okay, don't let me know if that made sense, because I don't know if that was a great answer. All right, James Armstrong, how should you develop their own lines? I would start with other people's lines first. Um, well, I would. Okay, a couple of things. You should transcribe other people's lines. One, two. Start with arpeggiating through. So I'm gonna give you a simple drill. Um, so let's take the chords. All right, and just practice. I'm just going up. Right, and maybe then try. Mm, mm, and then try to connect them, and then maybe add some rhythmic variety, and this kind of helps you get your fingers working a little bit, and transcribe other people's stuff. Um, if music is language, how is all language learned? Right? If music is language, well, how do we learn every language? Every person alive, how did they learn how to speak their language? It's from someone else. You learned someone else, and then once you learn the words and how to do it, then you spoke your own sentences. But you got to learn the words of the language. So you're gonna transcribe. Okay. Um, Keith says that's not just D minor stuff. Oh man, that's D minor. Bright says, "How long have you been playing?" Hmm. Well, I started playing piano when I was 11, and I took piano lessons for a couple years. Um, and that was like classical piano, so that kind of stuff. Um, and then I stopped. And then when I was 17, my cousin came and showed me how to play a song, and then said, "Go play in the church now." And I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to play by ear. Um, I just knew one song. I love you. That's all I knew. I had to figure the rest out really quickly. So let me see. I am 38 now. I am getting old. So if you take 11, then that's 27 years. But if you start when I was 17, when I started playing in church, that's 21 years. Um, so I guess 27 years would be the correct answer when I started playing. James says, "What's your approach? Are you thinking chord tones?" Um, Sometimes, yeah, James. I'm definitely thinking chord tones. So if I'm thinking, for instance, if I'm thinking E major seven, then you're gonna see me play E major seven stuff, right? All right. Yeah, you're gonna see me play E major stuff. Um, then James asks, and what about dissonant chords that sound very dense? Example is E flat major over B natural bass. Um, well, that's not actually too dissonant. Um, that chord is played all the time. Let me move the B up. This chord is played all the time in church. Let me show what I mean. Let me put the B flat on top. So this is the chord. You see B on the bottom, E flat on top. We do this all the time. It's all about context. If I put an F on the bottom, or so in church, let's see. Or if I put a G on the bottom, it acts as like a five, right? Or if I put a D flat on the bottom, it just becomes D flat seven with the excuse me with the nine sharp 11 13, right? Okay. Jay Allen says, "Hello, join late and we'll watch from the beginning after live feed ends. How do you balance playing, practicing technique, and adding songs to your repertoire?" Those are two different sessions. So I have a technique session where I work on technique. So I'm playing scales, arpeggios, these things. Technique. It's its own separate deal, right? And then repertoire songs um, um, for for if I'm performing or playing in service or have a gig, whatever it is, uh, then that's the time to learn repertoire. Okay. All right. Let's see. Any more questions? Uh, Woo! All right. So Jay Allen says, "I feel rushed trying to learn songs for service." Thanks for the response, by the way. Um, well, how much time are you putting into learning the songs? Like how much time do you have to learn the songs, and then how much time are you putting? So, do they give you the songs like a week in advance? So you have a week to learn the songs. Okay, y'all. Let's see. Jay Allen says no, sir. So what do you mean? So you just they just tell you the songs right when you're about to play them? um. Well, either way, let me help you. Here's what I did. So Jay Allen says 3 to 4 days. Okay. Are you playing for a church, Jay Allen? All right. So here's what I would say, Jay Allen. Um, one thing I did was I made a list of I don't know like 150 tunes, um, 150 tunes that I need to know for like church. It might be more than that. Like all the songs that I knew like from when I first started that I could not play, and I said, okay, I got to learn how to play these. All right. Um, and so and that went from songs from anywhere that I heard that I could not play. But then every church has a set of songs they do, right? So there are some songs that you can fall back on that you do all the time, right? Some standards, right? So I would start with the standards. So I will always be working on some of this church's standards through all 12 keys, or like whatever key you do it in, and just trying to see how I can play it better, and working on it, working on it, working on it to get it better and better and better and better. And so, they'll call new songs, but they'll also call some of the old faithful ones that you always do. And so slowly your playing on these songs will be better and better because you've been working on them steady. So there might be 20 songs that you're gonna do multiple times in a year. So you can work them out. But then also you need to work on the communication issue. Um, if you wanna give your best, if you wanna do the best that you can, you're gonna need more time. So I would definitely work that out for sure. Um, all right. Bright says, "What's muscle memory? How do I build it?" Um, let's call it something different. Let's call it mastery. And how do you build it? Slow practice, slow, consistent practice. Sabola says, talking about learning songs, is it possible for you to explain a song's chords to us? I have a song in mind that I won't mind you teaching in one of your classes. Well, email it to me and I'll see. Anthony says, how does one get better at voicing? For example, for a hymn in a key that you're not familiar, is that primarily ear training or theory or both? Well, one, understanding how the song works, right? Understanding how the song works. So I guess that's theory, but then also just working the song out in multiple keys, working these ideas out. I don't say necessarily working a song out, but working these ideas out. Some of my best friends, they don't practice songs; they practice progressions. I know one guy practiced 2-5-1 for years, and he's like the most phenomenal organist I've ever heard. Only practices one thing, because most songs are just 2-5-1. All right. Can y'all hear me? Y'all let me know if you all can hear me. Not my computer just froze on me. I'm doing a lot over here. So let me know if you all can hear me. All right, can y'all hear me? Can you hear me? All right, some of the faithful stayed. Hey, Keith. All right, sorry about that. As I said, we're doing some system upgrades and some changes here, and we're working through some of these things, changing a lot of stuff in the studio. So we're working through several things. Yeah, well, yeah. I guess I was. All right. Well, listen, I just wanted to say thank you all for sticking out. And man, we had some technical difficulties today, and hopefully I have these all worked out before our next session. So thank you all so much for sticking out and being faithful ones. Thank you. Um, are there any more last questions before we hang it up for tonight? Uh, yeah. So, with the issue, I have there's a driver issue happening with not driver, it's a kernel issue happening on the computer. that I need to repair. So it's causing some issues. So yeah. So I know it's not showing up, and um, I could fix it, but we'll keep it like it is for now. Um, all right, thanks. Keith says great class tonight. Thanks, man. Really appreciate that. Uh, keep your thumb on the black key. I mean white key. Sorry. Oh, C pentatonic scale. Oh, sorry. I thought it said C minor pentatonic. I don't know. 3 2 1 1 2. Yeah. There are lots of different fingerings on that one. Some people use some fingering over 2 octaves. Yeah. Do I have a fingering guide? Yes. So in my 3 scales every musician should know video, or you can just go to the website scalemusician.com. I have a um, part of the package for that video is I cover fingerings for, and I go through fingerings for all the different pentatonic scales, um, diminished scales, um, and more. Stay tuned, Enrico. I'll be sending out an email shortly. I know I'm saying that, but it's coming out shortly. Okay. Jack says, "Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for the content." Oh, thanks, Jack. All right. Hey, Rachel. Um. Uh, if I'm going down, starting on E, 3 2 1 2 1. All right, y'all. Well, remember the one mistake you must avoid, and that is being incomplete. Incomplete. So make sure you, whatever it is that you're learning, you dig deep and go beyond just the surface. Go beyond just uh, um, simple learning, but dig deep um, and go further. All right. Well, thank you all so much again, and thank y'all for sticking with me through some of these challenges. My goodness, we had some challenges tonight. Um, so thank you so much. So until the next one, be blessed and happy practicing.